I think it was just almost destiny. It wasn't something that we had planned. It wasn't something that we thought of for years. But there's something that we had really decided pretty much early in the marriage is that we're not going to have our own biological kids. That was a decision that we had taken. It is so weird that we had diametrically opposite views and opinions. Absolutely opposite. So one set was like, go ahead, we are all for it, anytime we are there to help, whoever the child is going to be our precious treasure, we're going to, handle it. And then there's this another set which was like, no way. So it was quite a challenge. And if you ask me, that was the most challenging and the most draining period for us, because honestly for us, other than this close circle, everything else was manageable. After he came home, I didn't see any settling issues, just like any parent. Yeah, he would not sleep in the nights, he would wake up and cry, but he would eat well, because that's the biggest worry in all the moms, and he would eat well, and for a few months he ate very, very well, and I was so happy, and suddenly it just dropped. So I went to the pediatrician. She's like, he's not eating, this is what he used to eat, and now he doesn't even eat, half or maybe even 1/4 of what he used to. It's like he's done his catch up, Swarna, so relax. I think in the Indian perspective, adoption is there's a stigma attached to it, because the way adoptions had happened and why they were happening was different, right? Because adoption was happening because you didn't have a child of your own. If you didn't have a child of your own, what does that mean? There's something wrong with you, right? So nobody wants to take that label, right? So they get a child and not letting people know that this is an adopted child, because it's sort of reflection of who you are, right? I don't want to be called an incomplete person, right? So I have friends who had babies after a long time in their marriage, and they tried hard and they did the fertility treatment, and they would come up to me and say, after so long I had my child. You would understand. It's like, okay, I would understand because, they don't think, even I'm talking about friends who are my age, who are educated, who are from urban India, we're not talking about rural. You would understand. What does that mean? That means that I have tried a lot, I didn't have a child, and hence I went in for adoption, right? So that's a big, big misconception about adoption, because honestly, I think at this age, women should be able to choose how they want to make their family. Now, if you've chosen your husband, I think you can choose to have your family the way you want to have it, You need to be convinced about this whole thing yourself. Definitely not because it's a noble thing to do, because there's nothing noble about adopting. You are selfish enough to want to be a parent, right? You want to be a parent, that's why you go out there and get a child. You do not, it's not because you want, the child will get a parent nevertheless. Not now, if not now, later. The child's going to grow up and become an older kid and then an adult, whether you are in his life or not. The fact is, you want to become a parent, right? That's your selfish interest. That you go and get a kid because you want to be called mom, you want to be called dad, you want to be a family, right? So there's nothing noble about this.